Here's what he's losing to. China's robots are 3 years ahead. Here's why. Let's start with the machine that breaks every rule, the Grow HR. Developed at Southern University of Science and Technology in Shenzhen, this isn't just an upgrade. This is a total reset on how we build robots. Look at current humanoids. Rigid, solid frames, unforgiving metal. Engineers love them because they're predictable, but they have a fatal flaw. They fail in the real world. Real environments are messy, collapsed rubble, tight gaps, claustrophobic spaces. A rigid robot in a disaster zone is just an expensive paperweight. The Grow HR team stopped looking at machines. They started looking at biology. Specifically, your bones. Human bones aren't solid sticks. They're masterpieces. Spongy interiors absorb shock. Hollow sections stay light. They grow. They adapt. They respond. So the engineers asked, what if metal could do that? They designed limbs that mimic bone. They're not rigid. They're inflatable chambers, soft, air-filled structures wrapped in fabric. Inside, tension cables and rigid adapters keep everything stable. The result? Something that breathes, something that adapts. The numbers are where it gets wild. These limbs can extend by 315%. Imagine standing at 4.5 feet, then stretching yourself to over 13 feet in seconds. That's what this does. But the stretch isn't the impressive part, it's the compression. It can shrink its height by 1/3 and its width by half. That means it can slither through cracks where a Tesla bot would get stuck permanently. It can navigate debris. It can escape. It survives where rigid robots just die. And the weight? 10 pounds. The entire machine weighs less than a pug. When you combine a growable skeleton with electric motors, something unexpected happens. The robot doesn't just move, it evolves. Its crawling speed jumps over 1,000% compared to motors alone. That isn't an upgrade. That is a completely different species of movement. But then it gets stranger. Here's the part where reality glitches. Because the Grow HR weighs 10 pounds, it does something that shouldn't be possible. It doesn't sink. It doesn't float. It walks on it sees millimeters per second. At 16 millimeters per second, on actual water, the robot strides across the surface like someone forgot to hit render on the physics engine, attach ducted fans, or a quadrotor system, and suddenly, the same machine is airborne. We're not talking cross-country flight, just short bursts over obstacles. But grasp the concept. The same physical platform can crawl through rubble, swim through floods, walk on water, and fly over walls. It is the ultimate all-terrain vehicle. There's something else the researchers cracked: energy storage. Rigid robots are slaves to their motors. The torque they generate at any moment is all they have. The Grow HR is different. It stores energy in its soft structures and releases it like a loaded spring. When it kicks or pushes, it's not just a motor turning, it's the entire body snapping forward with stored power. This isn't a fun side project. This was published in Science Advances. The scientific community looked at this and admitted, this is the endgame. The target application is rescue missions, disaster zones, places where humans die and rigid robots fail. Researcher Wang Ting was explicit. This is about narrow gap navigation. This is about saving lives in the debris. You're watching the future of rescue unfold in real time. You think that is the limit? They've already scaled it. LimX Dynamics just released footage that changed the game. They showed 18 humanoid robots called Ollie coordinating autonomously, not in a lab, in the real world. Visualize the scene. 18 units in shipping containers. Doors open. All 18 stand. All 18 exit. All 18 form up. No joystick, no puppeteer, no human operator at a control station screaming orders. They navigate tight spaces without colliding. They move not as individuals, but as a single unit. They think together. They act together. They move together. This isn't proof of concept. This is production ready. This is already shipping. The secret is COSA, not software. A hive mind. Cognitive OS of agents. 18 separate machines that think as one unit. They see what each other sees. They remember what each other learned. They move like they share a single nervous system. If one robot encounters an obstacle, all 18 know about it instantly. If one robot learns a solution, all 18 use it. Sensors feed data in real time. The system adjusts balance, posture, and movement in milliseconds. COSA works by unifying perception, skill, and memory into an internal state that evolves. We're not talking about consciousness, let's not get carried away, but we're talking about a system that learns, a system that improves, a system that gets smarter every time it moves. This builds on their previous tests, where robots learn to balance on one leg via reinforcement learning. But this is scaled, this is coordinated, this is swarm intelligence in physical form. LimX's vision is explicit. Teams, squads, swarms of humanoids in factories working together in synchronized motion, multiplying their impact exponentially. That is a terrifyingly efficient future. But it doesn't stop on Earth. Space, that's the final test. The ultimate environment, the place where machines either work or die. Engine AI is shooting one into orbit. Not simulation, not concept art. They're literally launching a humanoid robot into the vacuum of space to work on satellites while humans stay safe inside. The PM-1. Built with millisecond response sensors. Built to survive radiation. Built to work where humans break. The goal? Dangerous EVA repairs. Long-term monitoring, keeping humans inside the ship while the machine takes every risk. But here's where it gets immediate. You can buy one right now, $27,000. It ships tomorrow. The PM-1JD, 1.38 meters tall, runs on Intel and NVIDIA hardware, available today in your supply chain. And the connectivity part? This is the wildest thing most people won't understand. A company called Humanoids pulled off a demo in Beijing where a humanoid robot bypassed the internet entirely. It connected directly to a low Earth orbit satellite, zero ground network, zero 5G. It received a command, retrieved a package, and streamed its own video feedback via space. This means these things can operate in dead zones, disaster areas with zero cell towers, remote mountains, Arctic regions. They don't need infrastructure, they just need the sky. They operate independent of civilization. This is where we stop talking about cool tech and start talking about what's actually happening. This isn't research. This isn't a pet project. This is an industrial explosion that's already reshaping global manufacturing. In Shanghai, a factory just opened that does one thing. It builds humanoid robot joints. That's it. Nothing else. Just joints. Those joints are 50% of a robot's total cost. This single factory pumps out 100,000 units per year. They're already planning to triple that. Look at the shipment data. This is real. Unitary Robotics shipped 5,500 humanoids in 2025 alone, not prototypes, products, in stores, being deployed. Global estimates put 2025 shipments at 18,000 units. That's a 58% year-over-year jump. And here's the geopolitical reality that nobody wants to talk about. China accounts for over 80% of those installations. The supply chain, the gears, the chips, the sensors, the joints, the actuators, it's all concentrated there. By the end of 2024, there were 450,000 intelligent robotics enterprises in China. That isn't competition. That is total market dominance. Here's where the title becomes real. On the 28th of January, 2026, during Tesla's Q4 2025 earnings call, not Twitter, not casual, Elon Musk made a formal statement to investors. He said, "I do think that by far, the biggest competition for humanoid robots will be from China. China is incredibly good at scaling manufacturing, actually quite good at AI. The models they're distributing for free are actually quite good, and they keep getting better. That's not hype, that's not speculation. That's surrender, on the record, to Wall Street." And then he did something that proved it. He announced that Tesla is discontinuing the Model S and Model X cars that have been in production for over a decade. The Fremont factory, where those cars are built, will be converted to Optimus humanoid robot production starting next quarter. Why? Because he saw the math, and the math didn't add up. Here's the timeline that matters. Tesla is targeting public sales of Optimus for the end of 2027. That's Elon's own admission. LimX, already shipping Ollie. Base model, $22,660. Available now. Thousands being delivered this year. The gap? 3 years. Minimum. Chinese companies have already solved the problems Tesla is still working on. Autonomous coordination, real-world task execution, manufacturing at scale, pricing that makes business sense. Meanwhile, Tesla is converting an entire factory, burning $20 billion in capital expenditure, just to try and catch up. This isn't about who has the better AI. This is about who got there first, and who scaled first, and who got the supply chain right. China did all three. We need to be clear about what we're watching. This isn't just progress. It's a fundamental shift in what's physically possible. We have robots that can shapeshift to escape any environment. We have swarms that think as one unit. We have machines that walk on water, fly over obstacles, and survive the vacuum of space. And we have the supply chain to build millions of them. The question isn't whether this technology works. We've moved past that. The question is, what happens in 36 months when there are 100,000 of these deployed and they've all learned from each other? What happens when they're working autonomously in factories, in disaster zones, in places we can't even reach? What happens when they're not limited to Earth anymore? We aren't waiting for the future. The future is already unboxed. It just hasn't been distributed yet. Drop in the comments. What scares you more, the shape-shifting capability or the sheer industrial scale? the autonomous swarms, or the fact that it's all happening in one country? The fact that Elon just admitted China is faster? I read every comment. I really want to know your actual take on this. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that subscribe button. The world is changing at machine speed, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.